lines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hard work. It's what drives Nebraska. It defines our strength. Men like you live it every day. But sometimes living up to those expectations can be overwhelming. If you're struggling, call or text 988. You'll get skilled, caring support 24/7. Live up to a different kind of strength. The strength to ask for help. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith. Innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. It's hard to choose a favorite at Hog Wild, but I'd have to say it's their award-winning ribs. Hog Wild buys their meat from those who share their high-quality standards, then hand rubs each slab with their famous seasoning blend and slow smokes them over hickory each and every day for flavor and tenderness you're gonna keep coming back for. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Anderson Ford, Tanner's Bar and Grill, Tavern 180, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It takes hard work to make Nebraska the right place to raise a family, build a business, or grow a community. We're counting on working parents to make it happen, and they're counting on childcare professionals to have their backs. Employers and other contributors can earn up to $100,000 tax credit for strengthening childcare in our communities and state. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show, the show that gives you unique insights, unbridled honesty, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. We have so much to talk about today, from the good, the bad, the ugly, and I've never liked that phrase, the good, the bad, the ugly. Phenomenal movie. Did you ever see it with Clint Eastwood back in the day?
Yeah.
All right. Great movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. But I've never liked that phrase for one reason. There's 2 negatives and only 1 positive. So each day I text Jake, like, headline options. Hey, can this fit in? And then he makes the magic work with the YouTube headline and everything else. And I was like, man, the good, the bad, the ugly. There's inherently 2 negative things and 1 bad thing in there. And we're 5-1. There's got to at least be 2. I mean, if there's 2 negatives, the bad and the ugly, which, by the way, the bad and the ugly were very easy to come up with, but so was the good. But I needed something to balance it out. So it's the good, the bad, the ugly, and the improved. Because we have improved in some very key areas from a season ago. That's what we're going to talk about today. Also, like, if you looked at the slate of college football games last weekend, it was not exhilarating looking at the slate. It was not exciting. For the love of all that's holy, they went to Miami and Cal for college game day. And then it might have been, Alabama and Vandy was the game of the day. Then it was almost the game of the day. All right, the Canes are down by 21 at one point. They had to travel like 38 million miles to play a conference game. I saw a tweet throughout the week that the Miami equipment crew was 1,200 miles away from Miami on their way to a conference game, and they weren't even halfway there yet. Going from Miami, Florida, out to California, it's crazy. It's mind-blowing to me. Geography does not matter. Pretty soon we're going to have like teams in Germany playing teams from Washington down in Florida for no apparent reason whatsoever. But I digress. A whole slate of great games to talk about this past weekend. You found out that these are still kids growing up to be men that are playing college football. Ranked teams beating unranked teams beating ranked teams was running amok. All right, number 4 goes down to an unranked team. Number 1 goes down to an unranked team. And by the way, Vanderbilt, the poll era started in 1936. Vanderbilt was 0-60 versus top 5 teams until Saturday. Since 1936. How bad were they before that? Nobody knows because nobody kept track. They could be 0 for 8 million for all we know, but we know that they were 0-60 going into Saturday versus top 5 teams. So we got a whole slate of college football games and upsets. Pandemonium to talk about. We're also going to be giving my reaction to Matt Rule's press conference today, as always, every Monday. But we're going to start by the good, the bad, the ugly, and the improved when it comes to Nebraska football. All right, right out the gate, Jake, what do you think? Let's start with the good, because that's the order of the phrase, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the improved. So we'll just go in that order. What do you think the good is? What do you think the good is, Jake? We have not discussed this. What do you think the good is?
I would have to go with the defense. I mean, this was a defensive win. Once again, the defense, through half of the season now has allowed in 5 of the 6 games 10 points or less. And, the pass rush, I can wait a little bit on the improved on some of this stuff. But yeah, overwhelmingly the black shirts. That's got to be the banner for the good.
So I'll be honest with you. There was a few options for the good, which is also why I wanted to create another department called the improved. I needed more areas to focus on the improvement. The good is absolutely the black shirts. You nailed it. There's other things I want to talk about on a positive note. We're going to save that for the improved part of the show. All right, the black shirts have played since the Illinois game. Haven't given up a point in the first half. And actually, there's 3 first halves this year where they haven't given up any points. They're giving up an average in the first half of games this year, 3.33 points throughout the 6 first halves. All right, those 12 quarters of football that we played. And the offense, I've talked about the offense being inconsistent. We played 24 quarters of football this year. The offense has played 13 good quarters of football. All right, just over 50%. The black shirts have really played 22 good quarters of football. What are the 2 quarters that weren't good, Jake? 2 quarters and an OT. How about that? That's
there you go.
The Illinois game. Okay. Yeah. So their batting average is a lot higher, so to speak. It is well above 50% and well into the 90 percentile range. This is a black shirts defense that held Rutgers to 2 of 14 on third downs on Saturday. All right, let me pull up some of these stats here. All right, 2 of 14 on third downs, 2 of 6. That's an inordinate amount of 4th down attempts, but 2 of 6 on 4th down attempts as well. Held Rutgers. This was a potent, Kyle Monungai, a potent rushing attack to 2.4 yards per carry. All right. held them under 100 yards rushing. Kyle Monangai coming in was one of the top 10 backs nationally when it came to yards per carry, yards per game, total yards on the season. Held them under 100 yards rushing, 2.4 yards per rush, to the point where inexplicably Rutgers just kind of quit trying to run the ball, which I didn't understand, to be honest with you. But that's their problem, not ours. And when you look at what the Black Shirts have done since Illinois, well, I'm actually going to do a little bit more of a broader recap. Let's go to the first game, UTEP. All right, we're halfway into the season. We got a bye week. Let's do a little bit more broader recap. They really had one bad drive versus UTEP. 3 plays, 60 yards. UTEP went no huddle, caught us off guard. The rest of the game, they didn't do bupkis. They didn't even get into our red zone. All right, played really well. UTEP's not great, but they played really well versus UTEP, had one bad drive, really 3 bad plays. That was it. You look at the Colorado game. Just they absolutely stomped a mud hole in them the first half. The entire team, but the Black Shirts as well. The Black Shirts scored almost as many points as they allowed to Colorado. The pick 6, that's 7 for us, the good guys. And the other guys, well, it's Colorado. I'm just going to say it. The bad guys scored 10 on the entire day. This is a Colorado team that is 4-1, a team that is a legit contender in the Big 12 Conference. And I know people are like, oh, stop talking about Colorado. They're actually like pretty good. Well, we'll see how good they are. But they're much improved compared to a year ago. That I can safely say. And that I've been saying since before we played them. I sat here and said, before we played them, even after the game, the worst that they are is equal to a season ago. And if you remember, they played 9 ranked teams last year, and they had several games that they lost by 1 possession. They are 4-1, went down to UCF, who was the number 1 rushing team in the country, averaging over 300 rush yards per game, 14-point dogs, and beat them by 20-plus points. I'm not sitting here some sort of Colorado fan. What I'm saying is when you look at what Nebraska did to them, especially the defense in that game, held them to 10 points. It's pretty impressive when you think about the elite athletes they have. Travis Hunter may be the number 1 overall pick. Shedeur Sanders may be the number 1 overall pick. They both may be top 5 picks. Then they got other athletes back there, okay, as well on the Colorado skill positions. You look at, who did we play after Colorado? Oh, Northern Iowa. And it was interesting because I was as frustrated as anybody else after the Northern Iowa game. I was like, oh, God, we can't get off the field. Wow, Northern Iowa just rushed for more yards than Colorado and UTEP combined, and they kind of pushed us around a little bit. All true. All facts. All things that showed up a little bit more against Illinois in the second half. How many points we give up in that game, Jake? Do you remember? Don't Google.
To Colorado?
Are you not listening?
Sorry,
I want a new producer. No, I don't. Jake, I was talking about Northern Iowa.
Oh, okay.
How many points did we give up in that game?
3.
Atta boy. All right, when you pay attention, you're not half bad. Only gave up 3 points. It's Northern Iowa, but still a really good FCS team. All right, Illinois was the next game, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Stop Googling things. You should know these off the top of your head. The first half, we really played really, really well. Had the lead at halftime, clearly outplayed them, had the gigantic advantage in the stats. Now, you got to give credit to Brett Bielema. He's a good football coach. He's won 3 Big Ten championships for a reason in his career at Wisconsin. Went down to Arkansas, comes back to the Big Ten. He's a Big Ten style of coach. It didn't work in the SEC. It's okay. He's a Big Ten style of coach. They made halftime adjustments, and it showed. And a team that hadn't rushed the ball well all year, all of a sudden rushed the ball well in the second half. And a team that wasn't supposed to be all that potent on offense, all of a sudden we couldn't get off the field. Our offense kind of stalled too. Like, they made adjustments and we didn't. Credit to them. Hopefully we'll do better next time we're in a similar situation. Really, the overtime, when it took 2 plays for them to score from the 25-yard line, that was what bothered me the most. I was like, oh my goodness, that was way too easy. Outside of those 2 quarters and that 1 overtime possession, the Black Shirts, if you look at them statistically, they are top 10 in the country in points per game allowed. All right, number 3 in the Big Ten, only behind Ohio State, Penn State, ahead of schools like Michigan and the like. They're top 10 in the country when it comes to yards per game allowed, right? Number 9 and 10 respectively, points per game, yards per game allowed. They are playing incredibly well. They're not giving up points. Then you come into the Purdue game. And Ty Robinson, he talked about after the Illinois game how they were pretty much embarrassed by how they had played to end that game, and they came back with a vengeance. Purdue ended up with 10 points, but really they got their touchdown with like 2 minutes to go. Shut them out the first half, limited their total yards, their points, their third down conversions. All right, and on a day when the offense wasn't exactly, blowing up the scoreboard till there was about 20 minutes left in the game. And when I say that, I mean it was 0-0 till there was about 20 minutes left in the game. The defense really was the huge component of us being able to stay in that game and win that game. Because imagine if Purdue scores just a touchdown in the first half and just a touchdown in the third quarter. All of a sudden, we're down 14-0. That changes the complexion of the game. But they didn't do that. The offense had pressure taken off of them because they knew the defense wasn't going to give up a lot of points. And we ended up winning the game 28-10. You come to Rutgers, right? The offense puts up 14 points in the first half, looks pretty good, stalls out in the second half. Again, now the 24 quarters we played this year, the offense has played 13 good quarters. The defense has played 22. The good is the defense. When you look at this Rutgers game specifically, Ethan Kalanick-McManus was 15-37. Is that above or below 50%, Jake?
That is below.
He was really fast with that calculator. That was impressive. Well below. Nebraska's quarterbacks combined last year when we struggled mightily to throw the football were a combined 52%. He's well below that. Also, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. So a 2-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio. Couldn't throw the ball that well. Couldn't run the ball. Their vaunted running attack. Couldn't run it that great. And I'll be honest with you, Kyle Monangai is a beast. He's one of those guys, when you look at him, he's not going to blow the top off your defense with elite speed, but he's built like a bowling ball. He's the type of guy that defenders look at and we're like, oh, I'd rather face the tall, skinny, fast guy. Or I'd rather face the 250-pound back. This is a back who's about 200, 215 pounds, built low to the ground. They are the most difficult guys to tackle. The first quarter, Rutgers actually ran the ball pretty well. After that, not so much. The black shirts were the reason we won the game on Saturday. Rutgers started with the ball at our 2-yard line, 6 plays, nothing. They started with the ball the next possession at our 28-yard line. You know what happened? The next 3 plays, Jake? That means no.
No.
3 plays for negative 19 yards. There was a 9-play period where Rutgers' offense had a combined negative 18 yards. It was negative 19 on the 3 starting at the 28 and positive 1 on the 6 starting at the 2. Our defense was put in position after position after position on Saturday where they basically had to win the game for us, and they did. That's the good. All right, Jake, what do you think the bad is?
Well, it's a good day for Brian Buscini, but I still have to go with special teams.
No. The ugly's still coming.
Oh, the ugly's coming. Okay.
The ugly is still coming.
But, between the offense and the special teams, you got to pick one or the other. All right. Well, I would think maybe what I don't know. I'm interested in what you think is the bad then.
Hey, I actually forgot to mention this. If there was a glorious section, this is the glorious section. James Williams, a man that Jared Crick identified last March when he went to a spring practice. I said, hey, who's someone under the radar? And Jake remembers this. All right. Jake was paying attention on that particular day. I love just taking shots at you and then just not giving you a chance to respond. It's great. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. You can always hop in. All right. Feel free to take shots at me. WWE promo style all day long. All right, Vic? Have fun with it. But Jared Crick, when I asked him, I said, who's someone under the radar? Out of nowhere. He says, number 90, James Williams. He looks like a future first-round pick. Now, I don't want to like he had a great game Saturday. Let's go easy on this. But that's what Jared said back in March. So shout out to Jared Crick for identifying a guy that nobody basically just did a tryout a year ago. That's all it was, a grad tryout. Ends up on the team, and he identifies him out of, my God, 150-some guys on the team. That guy sticks out to me. On Saturday, 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and really the play to end the game on 4th down could have easily been his 3rd sack of the game. Quarterback just happened to get rid of the ball. Like right before, it would have been his 3rd sack. And it's interesting because I actually want to learn more about him. He talked about how he's had trouble with his family has kind of gone away to a degree. And this is where I got to learn more. I've just seen little clips and little tidbits here and there. His family has kind of gone away. And Coach Knighton has really stepped in as a father figure for him. There's a picture of him hugging Coach Knighton after the game. And it's not a typical coach-player hug. Like there's a bond between those two that you can see. And I want to learn more about this. I want to learn more about his story from just a grad tryout to all of a sudden catching Jared Crick's eye to making plays on Saturday to where the world notices. And now you start to learn a little bit more about his story. All right. That if there was a glorious section, the good, the bad, the ugly, the improved, and the glorious, that would be the glorious. We're just going to keep adding segments if you're cool with that, Jake.
All right.
All right. The bad. Nebraska's inability to consistently run the football. We are averaging 3.9 yards per carry. For perspective, a good running football team without a running quarterback, because I keep hearing, oh, we don't have a quarterback that runs the ball. That's why the running game has gone down. Okay, Ethan Kelly McManus, with all due respect, can barely tie his shoes and then walk afterwards without falling down. And I mean that with all due respect and a little bit of fun as well. I'm just proud I finally am able to say his name consistently and correct. I struggled with that for so long. Hey, my name gets butchered, and it's not even that hard, so I don't feel half bad about it. But Rutgers averaged over 5 yards a carry. I believe it was 5.8 coming into Saturday. And yeah, it's all about who you play, this and that. We haven't played Murderer's Row yet. I think our 4 toughest games are still in front of us. So by comparison, we're averaging 3.9 yards per carry. Now, to be fair, college football incorporates sacks. And Dylan Raiola is averaging minus 4.1 yards per carry due to the sacks. But here's the other stat that is figured in there, is Ja'Cory Barney is averaging 14.9 yards per carry, and that guy's a wide receiver. So neither one of those are really part of the running game. So I believe it offsets. We're averaging 3.9 yards per carry, and I'll tell you when it really started to bother me. Purdue, one of the worst run defenses in the country, and we could not run the ball consistently against Purdue. There's no holes. There's no place to go. That's on the blocking up front. And we talked last week, hey, the pass pro is improved. You can't improve on everything all at once. There's only so much time in a day. You couldn't stay the same run blocking? You just couldn't stay equivalent to? Like, just because I'm working on my pass rush moves doesn't mean I all of a sudden get pancaked on every single double team I face. Like, we have huge offensive linemen. We have highly recruited guys. We have experienced guys. You've heard it ad nauseum. We have a position coach in his 3rd year here. Why in the world we've dropped off so much with the running game and our quarterback doesn't run? Well, we can also throw the ball, so we're more balanced to keep defenses off balance, so the running game should be there, at least equivalent to a season ago. We just don't have to run the ball as much, so we don't need total running yards to be equivalent to, but the yards per carry can at least be equivalent to a season ago. 3.9. The bad is that we cannot run the ball and knock people backwards, not consistently. All right, Jake, what do you think the ugly is? You already know what the ugly is. What do you think the ugly is?
Yeah, well, if the special teams is still out there, I think that's been mighty ugly all year long.
What if I said it wasn't special teams? And I don't mean to make a joke of it. It's really not funny. So I do have a story to share, and I actually kind of felt bad for Ed Foley before the game. So the former players, the former letter winners did a tunnel walk and on Saturday before Rutgers game, and I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting to go out with all the other letter winners from all the other sports that were able to show up on Saturday. And I run into Coach Knighton. If you follow me on TikTok, I posted this video. If you watch my gut reaction, I posted this video. So Coach Knighton's there. Once I'm on the field, here comes Tony White in his neon green sleeves, long sleeve shirt. And so we have a brief moment there. He's obviously getting ready for the game. But fans were going, I saw some grad assistants coming through. Fans were going crazy. And here comes Ed Foley. All of a sudden it got really quiet, like really quiet. And I was like, one of two things. Either, wow, they really don't like him, which I don't think that's the case. It's never personal. Never take anything personal. If you hear anything that's said by me and you take it personal, I accept no responsibility for that. Okay. I simply give my opinion on what's happening on the field, why or why not, and my take, that's it. If you take it personal, hey, I got nothing but love for you. I was a 1st round pick. I know what it's like to be chewed up and crapped out, and I know what it's like to be loved to death and everything in between. I've been there. Unless you're the head coach or the quarterback in Nebraska football, I've been where you're at and probably then some. So I'm not going to apologize for my honest opinion. If you take it personal, it's on you. And I'm absurdly hard to miss. Come find me anytime you'd like. We can chat. My point, and that's not a challenge, it's just an open door. Like, come chat anytime you'd like. Ed Foley walks by and it just, like, you could hear a pin drop. And I was like, do really all these people know what he looks like? So I kind of felt bad for him. The other thing was his demeanor was that it was very like solemn, yet I would just, the 5 seconds I saw him, almost like pissed off at the same time. Like he almost anticipated negativity. And I'm sure he's had a lot of stuff thrown his way, and it's tough to deal with. Okay, if the performance on the field was better, it'd be a little bit different. All right, right now, when I watch special teams, it is the ugly. It reminds me of a middle school football team. In middle school, you have no idea, is there anybody on this team that can long snap? Is there anybody on this team that can make a field goal? Probably not in middle school. Again, remind you of our special teams right now. Is there anybody on this team that can make an extra point? Hey, we're making extra points right now. But my point is, we're 4 of 9 on field goals, 44%. That's about what extra point conversions are in middle school. All right, we're averaging 5 yards per punt return. No returns to speak of. Our coverage units are below average when it comes to consistency at best. So anyways, the story was he walks on the field. I just kind of felt bad. Everyone got really, really quiet. I didn't know if it was due to the fact that they recognized him or just his demeanor. Okay, but I kind of felt bad for him because you never want anyone to walk around with that on their shoulders. Okay, just on a human being level. On a coaching level, we need more. We need more. We need a lot more. Now, this is a guy who's had a great career. He knows football. He understands football. He's probably as frustrated and perplexed as anybody else as to why special teams isn't performing better. This is a guy that has a long history with Matt Rule. This is a guy who's probably taught Matt Rule a lot of things due to his experience. I have nothing but love and respect for Ed Foley's career. All due respect. But the results on the field right now, I mean, we can't punt. We had 2 block punts on Saturday. We can't kick a field goal. Is the snap going to be all right? Is the hold going to be all right? Game-winning field goal attempt against Illinois. Laces aren't where they should be. If that all goes right, is it going to get blocked? We had 2 blocked field goals this year. Oh, we got the snap. We got the hold. It didn't get blocked. It's less than a 50% chance we're going to make it right now. 2 block punts Saturday. Special teams literally were the only thing that gave Rutgers an opportunity. The block punt inside our end zone gave Rutgers the opportunity to really be in that game. Right now, we are winning in spite of our special teams. You never want to be a player on a unit that you're winning in spite of. You never want to be the coach of the unit that you're winning in spite of. This bye week could not have come at a more perfect time for the special teams unit. It's an opportunity to get better. Better. Any other thoughts on special teams?
Not too much. It's all ugly. It's tough.
Okay. All right. The improved. How much time do we have left? I know the other show kind of ran over, so we started late. What time we need to be done with this segment?
Probably about 2 more minutes.
All right. The improved. What do you think the improved is?
Especially from last year. Again, I go back to James Williams. I'd say that pass rush is definitely improved.
That is definitely. There's a lot of things, actually. The pass rush is improved. It's more consistent. The 2 things that I was going to mention are the 2 things that cost us the most amount of games last year. And I actually mentioned this on my most recent Chronicle show where I did mid-season grades for the offense, the defense, special teams, and the team as a whole. The 2 things that needed to improve the most, and the 2 things that cost us the most games last year was turnovers, quarterback play, or throwing the ball ineffectively. Again, we completed 52% of our passes. Our interception to touchdown ratio was, let me repeat that, not touchdown to interception. Interception to touchdown ratio was more than 2-1. And I'll repeat this for the 50th time. The only offenses in America that were worse than us at throwing the ball, Army, Navy, Air Force, Iowa. Like, how do you feel about that, knowing that information, Jake?
Well, most of the teams don't try to pass the ball, and the one that does.
Exactly. That's my point.
Is Iowa.
I mean, Kirk Ferentz tried to play daddy ball, and even he couldn't keep baby Ferentz around. Yes, that was meant as a jab. You can take that personally if you'd like baby Ferentz, but it all started. If anybody remembers, I first started calling him that after he took a shot at us at an event in Iowa that he thought nobody was ever going to see. It got out, and I've always reacted to that since then by calling him baby Ferentz. I also hate daddy ball when I see kids playing new sports, but that's a topic for another day. Or mommy ball. Dylan Raiola has a 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Touchdown to interception, 3-1. 9 touchdown passes, 3 INTs. Wow, that's just a whole lot to a gargantuanly amount better. Our completion percentage on the year, and before Saturday, it was over 70%. All right. Dylan had a little bit of a rough day. He's allowed to be human. Okay. He threw for under 50% on Saturday, 13 for 27, which dipped him down to a completion percentage of 67%, which is 15% better than last year, by the way. So the ability to pass the ball is significantly better. I just wish our run game was equivalent to last year. Could you imagine if it was equivalent to last year? And the turnover margin. Last I looked, maybe double check me on this real quick. I believe we're +5 on the season. All right, that's if we don't count blocks or anything like that, which you don't generally count as turnover margin. But there's a stat out there. If you have a block punt, the team that wins in the game with the block punt, the team that has the block punt, like blocks the punt, like we block Iowa's punt, there's a 90% chance we'll win that game. Just random example, but that is the stat that I've seen. Are we +5?
I could look it up.
All you want to do is you could use Google. I asked you to use Google.
You told me to stop using Google.
You stare off into space. Stop daydreaming about her, okay? All right?
Okay.
Or him, whatever works for you, Jake. All right, so the improved is the passing game and the turnover margin, and it's by far the two areas we needed to be the most improved in. What I didn't imagine is that we would regress a little bit in the run game and regress a whole lot of bit in the special teams game. Special teams are not so special right now. It's got to get gargantuanly better. So the good, the defense, and how they responded to the Illinois game and how they played since, or really the rest of the quarter, 22 out of 24 quarters. The bad, the run game. You got to give your true freshman quarterback some help. Got to be able to knock people off the ball up front. An experienced, big offensive line. There's no excuse for it. The ugliest special teams, the improved, the pass rush, as Jake pointed out, the passing game, all right, and the turnover margin. What are we at?
+6.
+6, even better than I thought. I like it. All right, you got any final thoughts, Jake?
Not too many final thoughts. I did see something that is notable, that the Indiana game will be kicked off at 11 a.m. on Big Noon Saturday. So
I like it.
Good for Nebraska.
Did you know that Indiana's the first team to get bowl eligible in the country?
Are they?
Nobody else is 6-0. They have a bye week now, just like us. I was kind of hoping we'd have that advantage, but that's okay. Our next two opponents, number 18 in the country, number 2 in the country. We're going to have some opportunities to beat a ranked team this year. Getting that monkey off our backs would be huge. We won a one-score game on Saturday. Yeah. Got that monkey off our backs. Let's beat a ranked team this year. Get that monkey off our backs. I mean, my God, get bowl eligible. Let's do a little bit more than that. All right. But let's get bowl eligible. Get that monkey off our backs. I feel like Steve Young, after they stomped a mud hole in the Chargers in the 94 Super Bowl, and in the locker room, he's like having his teammates, get the monkey off my back. Are you old enough? You're old enough to have seen that, right?
I don't remember that. I remember Steve Young in the latter half of his career, but.
What's your age again?
34.
Was that Blink 182? What's my age again?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when you said that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do one of two things when we come back. We're either going to react to Matt Rule's press conference, or, if that's still going on, we're going to react to an insane weekend of college football. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel is the answer to all your lunch and dinner cravings. They have everything from smoked turkey sandwiches to brisket burritos to burnt-in sandwiches and pulled pork. Try a dinner plate option of barbecue nachos, a half-smoked chicken, a full slab of ribs, and so much more. Don't forget their great sides like mac and cheese, cheesy potatoes, barbecue beans, or red slaw. Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, open Monday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
A veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hi, I'm State Senator Bo Ballard. I was born and raised right here in Lancaster County. I understand the value of hard work by being involved in our family business. I built my own company, creating jobs right here in our community. Nebraska families and business owners need lower taxes, more affordable health care, and a great education system. That is why I fought for the largest tax cut in Nebraska history, reduce the cost of health care, and help pass the biggest investment in our public schools. I'm Senator Bo Ballard, and I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th, paid for by Ballard for Nebraska.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Kim with Midwest Bank. We know there is more to your business than numbers and spreadsheets. For us at Midwest Bank, the people who make up a business matter most. We believe in getting to know you and your business and providing customized banking solutions that help protect your business and help it grow. Schedule a free consultation with us today. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Everyone should have a collection of something. For some, it's stamps or coins, expensive cars, or even watches. But for a lot of people, it's sports cards. And there's no better way to grow your collection than with the help of Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's first and only collector-first sports cards and memorabilia shop. Capital City Sports Cards connects collectors of all ages and demographics with unique collectibles sure to bring any collection to life, no matter the budget. Visit Capital City Sports Cards near 56th and Old Cheney or through their eBay storefront. Capital City Sports Cards, Lincoln's premier sports card and memorabilia store.
The temperature and leaves are falling daily, so that means it's time for a new pair of shoes for the fall season from Brown Shoe Fit. Now, through October 31st, take $15 off any regular priced fall shoe and boots. Brands like Keen, Obos, Echo, Taos, and Atrex, all $15 off. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details. This is the sale that you've all been waiting for. So get down to Brown Shoe Fit on 66th and Q.
When your home fills up with family, Aloe Fiber makes sure that space is a happy place for everyone. Aloe Fiber experts install it all, and full service means step-by-step support, guiding you through everything so you can stay connected to what matters, and the family can always feel at home. Put the game on, and don't worry about your Wi-Fi calling a timeout. Better TV and internet service is one connection away. Call Allo at 866-481-2556 or visit allofiber.com.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
This is the Adam Carriker Show
on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. I'm having my 4-day-a-week typical fight with the mic. Hey, I think I actually am going to win this fight for once. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Adam Carriker Show, the show that gives you unique insights, unbridled honesty. And I'm having a whole lot of fun today at Jake's expense. I told him to fire it back at me if he wants during the commercial break, but not too often. It is my show, but he does a phenomenal job. All right, Matt Rule is still talking. His press conferences are going longer this year. It's awesome that he takes the time with the media to chat the way he does. So if it is done in time for our last segment, I will give a reaction. If not, I'll be here tomorrow. So plenty of time. But we've also got a ton of college football to talk about today, the game of the day on Saturday. And I never got to this last week, so people can call me out and say there's no proof. But I didn't quite understand. Well, I understood. I just didn't agree with Alabama going to number one. If you'd watched the USF game, that game was a one-score game until 6 minutes to go, and then they pulled away. And I was like, all right, you got USF, and then obviously you do what you do to Georgia. I would have put them number two because Texas has – oh, my God. Why do I have to say this? Why? Because I have to give my honest opinion because that's what I do. Texas looks like the best team in the country. All right. I got it out without throwing up. Okay. I would have still kept Texas number one. Hope I didn't hurt anyone's ears when I said that. Jake's eyes got wide. But I digress. Alabama loses. They go down to Vandy. They go down to Vanderbilt. Did you see the clip of Nick Saban talking about the one place you don't lose in the SEC is Vanderbilt? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Vanderbilt played it after the game. It was great. Basically, I'll paraphrase. He talked about the one team you don't lose to is Vanderbilt. It's the easiest place to play. And every time they go there, there's way more Alabama fans than there is Vanderbilt fans in the stands. Now, I must admit, Vanderbilt, like a lot of people think that Vanderbilt is just like, bow ties and calculators. That's all that's at Vanderbilt, Northwestern. Stanford's actually pretty decent at a lot of sports, but that's how I envision like a lot of the people at Duke that don't play basketball. Like, no, there's actually like Vanderbilt has built this team a little bit differently this year. It's crazy because this is the team that beat the number one team in the country. Do you know one of the teams they lost to? No Google again. Yeah, Georgia State.
Ooh.
You lose to Georgia State and then you beat Alabama. I love college football. My oldest daughter, a lot of my kids will sit down and watch college football with me. My oldest daughter, not so much. Muy inteligente, loves volleyball and track. Tolerates. Last Saturday, it's in the morning. She goes, can we watch a movie? Like she knows what I'm going to say. Can we watch a movie? Can we watch? Like she lists like 15 things. And I look at her. She goes, and I don't say anything. She goes, I know, football. And she like walks away. But I told her after the Vanderbilt Alabama game, I said, this is why I love college football. You never know what's going to happen. It's so unpredictable. Every team does not show up every Saturday with their A game. These are teenagers. And I know we've got like I can't wait for the COVID 84th year senior rule to end. But we've got anywhere from like 17-year-olds and Ryan Williams at Alabama, but typically 18-year-olds to 22, maybe 23-year-olds. I think the average age of the college football player is 21. So they just started to be able to do other things in life, shall we say, on a Saturday night like Jake. All right.
Yeah.
That's it. I paused so you could. Oh, man. You got to watch more Rock. Rock came back at the WWE pay-per-view or live event. I don't know why they changed the name. I do, because you don't have to pay to view it anymore. You just have to download Peacock. But I digress. Came back. You got to watch more Rock, Stone Cold, and Cena promos. When he flips the crowd from crapping all over him, and by the end of the segment, they're cheering him. He did it time and time and time again. But I digress. College football is so much fun because it's the most unpredictable sport on planet Earth. You don't know what's going to happen. You could argue Major League Baseball because literally the worst team can beat the best team like 2 or 3 times in a season. What I would tell you is there's going to be losses between teams that are better losing to teams that are worse, because the general rule of Major League Baseball is you're going to win a third of your games, you're going to lose a third of your games. Okay, it's that middle third. That's the difference between the teams at the top and the bottom. So the unpredictability of Major League Baseball is taken away by the predictability of you're going to lose to teams you shouldn't, and you're going to beat teams you shouldn't. College football, you know it's going to happen, but you have no idea who, you have no idea when. Vanderbilt fans have been waiting since 1936 for this. Shout out to the bow ties and calculators that now hit people with football pads. I say that in jest. I've actually always kind of rooted for Vanderbilt. I felt like the whole SEC kind of looked down on them, so I've always kind of rooted for them. But here's some thoughts on Vanderbilt versus Alabama. Oh, final thought on what I said to my daughter. I said, I love it. You never know what's going to happen. It's so unpredictable. You can win a game 14-7, 7-6, or you can win a game 63-60. Or somewhere in between. You don't know what the score is going to be. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know which one of your favorite teams is actually going to show up. Like, they might be wearing the red and white, but which Nebraska team is going to show up today? No idea. That's part of the fun, the nauseum sometimes, but the fun as well. All right, number 1, Alabama loses to 3-2 Vanderbilt. This was a Vanderbilt team that took, until last Saturday, an undefeated number 9 team in the country, Missouri, to overtime and did it on the road. This is a team that has played really well this year. High ceiling, low floor with Vanderbilt. I had an incredibly entertaining game. Vanderbilt has had only 2 SEC wins since 2019. They've only won 2 conference games in the past half a decade. Also, once again, this is Vanderbilt's first win over a top-ranked team ever. First time Vandy has scored more than 40 points versus a top 5 team. Score is 40-35, so technically 40 or more. Vanderbilt's, check this stat. Vanderbilt's last 4 games versus Alabama, they scored a combined 13 points. Combined. Vanderbilt had lost 23 straight games to the Crimson Tide, dating back to 1984. Oh, wow. They hadn't beaten them since I was born. That's crazy. Vanderbilt was 0-60 all-time versus top 5 teams, dates back to 1936 when the Polaris started. Alabama is now the 4th number 1 team to beat a number 2 ranked team or number 2 ranked team to win a top 2 matchup and then lose the very next week to an unranked team. Any final thoughts on that game? I could talk all day about it, but we got other games to get to.
Oh, just that Nick Saban would never. Nick Saban would never lose to Vandy. So the pressure's already on Kalen DeBoer. You know it is.
So I was going to skip over, but the next thing I have written here is Nick Saban's rat poison. Okay. Because he talks about, he hates it when people pump up his team's doing well. He'll literally get, like when he was coaching, he would rip into the media and he'd call it rat poison. Don't give us that rat poison. He doesn't like it when people feed into their own hype. And he talked about, at some point this week, I saw him on ESPN. Maybe it was College Game Day when I was fighting over the remote with my children. Sometimes I win. I just hold it really, really high. That's my secret. I hold it way above their heads. Eventually, that's not going to work, especially with my son who's supposed to be 6'8". But for now, I got the advantage. But Nick Saban calls it rat poison. When you're doing really, really well and people start to say really, really good things about you, and he'll say, don't eat that rat poison. All right. Unranked Arkansas took down number 4 Tennessee. Now, this is an Arkansas team that was 3-2 going into the weekend, but could have been 5-0. They almost beat A&M. Really, I don't know how they lost to Oklahoma State early on. They went to overtime in Stillwater. When people are like, you are what your record says you are, I don't agree. It depends on who you played. It depends on how the game's unfolded. At the end of the day, what matters the most is the wins and losses. Like Nebraska's 5-1. That's what matters the most. But it's not completely who you are. There's much more that goes into it. Arkansas was the team, people are flabbergasted that Tennessee lost this game. But if you'd watched Arkansas this year, they're a pretty good team. This was at home. Their fans were going nuts. Pig suey all night long if you watch that game. Pig suey! I don't know if I did that right. Jake just smirked at me.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
That didn't sound right.
I tried my best. Does that count?
Sure.
Arkansas takes down number four Tennessee 19-14. Here's the thing with college football. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, 10-2 might get you in the playoff. 9-3, no way." The schedules are so much more difficult. You're going to play so many more ranked teams, so many high-ranked teams, and then you're going to play like an Arkansas team is supposed to be easy, right? No. That's a halfway decent team, and now all of a sudden you have a letdown, and they see number 4 coming in. They're playing their A game, and you're playing your C- because you're saving your A game because you're a kid for when you play Bama, if you're Tennessee, on the 3rd Saturday in October, or when you play whoever, Georgia eventually, Texas. I don't believe they play this year, but if you were going to, And then that's how you lose. There's going to be so many more losses next to high-ranked teams this year and teams in the top 10 and 12 in the college football playoff than there's ever been. You also get way more great matchups. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying don't be surprised if this happens a lot more. All right, not a headline grabber, but number 22 Louisville loses to unranked SMU 34-27. Like, SMU's like good this year. Like, what? SMU has been a very good power group of 5 team for a while. They come into the ACC, and frankly, they got their butts whooped sideways by Boston College in the bowl game. I was like, oh, so this is what it's going to look like when you play an ACC team. No. They stomped a mud hole in Florida State 42-16 and walked it dry. Florida State is Florida State, but that should never happen. And then they come up and they beat a ranked Louisville team, number 22. Like, holy cow. Watch out for SMU. Number 25, Texas A&M absolutely destroys number 9, Missouri. Missouri is an example of you are not what your record says you are. If you had watched Missouri this year, again, Vanderbilt, much better than they've been, but they still lost to Georgia State. Comes in to Columbia, Missouri, and takes them to overtime. And in all honesty, Missouri really shouldn't have won that game. But they did. They had several close games this year. Like, I'll tell you right now, if Arkansas and Missouri played, I'd take Arkansas. They're 4-2, Missouri's 5-1. But if you watch these games, I would take Arkansas over Missouri. Not a lot of confidence points, but I'd take them. I'd put like a solid $5 down on them. We got to take a break?
Yeah.
All right, last 2 things here. Undefeated UNLV lost in overtime to Syracuse. UNLV has actually been playing better without their starting quarterback who quit on the season, but that's a topic we never talked about here, but we could get into it at another time. But they actually had wins over Power 4 teams as well as being undefeated Kansas and Houston. All right, in Boise State, running back Ashton Genty has already rushed for more than 1,000 yards this year and is on pace to break Barry Sanders' record. Just let that sit out in the universe for a bit. If he breaks that record, I mean, you got him, you got Travis Hunter. Those 2 guys have to be your 2 Heisman frontrunners right now. And if he breaks Barry's record and then Travis Hunter does what he's been doing, 130-plus snaps a game, basically 2 things that have never happened in college football before, it's going to be an interesting Heisman Trophy race. He's got to be one of your Heisman frontrunners right now. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're either going to talk more college football or react to Matt Rule's press conference. Your guess is as good as mine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back talking about something.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Fall is here, which means it's time to dive into a new lineup of autumn flavors at Wings and Rings. Your home away from home during football season. Their all-star lineup of wing sauces is adding 2 new impact players, curry garlic and pumpkin chili. Need something delicious before kickoff? How about starting your meal with their brand new chorizo nachos and loaded fries? You better act fast. These new tastes of autumn won't be here long. So make the trip to one of their 2 Lincoln locations today on O Street or Village Lane.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we want to thank all of our customers for a great September. And now it's time for our annual Halloween sales event happening right now at Koppel. Get 0% financing at Koppel. You heard right, 0% financing on select new models. Also, huge discounts up to $11,500 are available. It's our annual Halloween sales event. Get $11,500 off or 0% financing at Koppel. So please stop on by or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did 0% with roof credit.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play it against sports at 48th and Vine.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Are you worried about storm damage causing issues with your basement? F Foundation Repair fixes basements with supreme waterproofing and exact concrete leveling for residential or commercial clients. They service wet basements, leaky walls, damp crawl spaces, bowing or cracked bricks or drywall, and more. Whether you're in Southeast Nebraska, the Tri-Cities area, or Northeast Kansas, they'll easily make the trip to you. Get a free evaluation today by visiting WeFixBasements.com or call 402-804-1024. F Foundation Repair. We fix basements.
Hard work. It's what drives Nebraska. It defines our strength. Men like you live it every day. But sometimes living up to those expectations can be overwhelming. If you're struggling, call or text 988. You'll get skilled, caring support 24/7. Live up to a different kind of strength. The strength to ask for help. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. We got to move quickly because we're going to give our reaction to Matt Rule's rather lengthy but very informative and interesting press conference. The Adam Carriker Show, powered by 93.7 The Ticket and the Carriker Chronicles. One final thought on Alabama. All right, their first three games, they gave up an average of 8.7 points per game. Their last two, 37 points per game. Total yards, the first two games, 248. The last two games, 469 yards per game they're allowing. Pass yards per game, 115. The last two games, 345. Literally triple the pass yards. Third downs, their opponents were 8 of 50. Oh, good Lord. That's 16% conversion rate. Oh, well, don't worry. The last couple of games, last two games, 15 to 33, which is still under 50%, but vastly improved. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to Matt Rule's press conference. I'm going to try to find the highlights here. Talked about how they just did a normal Monday practice, and we'll practice Tuesday through Thursday, then be off through Sunday. By the way, that's pretty normal for a bye week. Atypical, you want to get that work in, you want to grind, you want to get better, and then you want to rest up, heal, and come back rejuvenated for the following game. Happy with the turnover margins so far this year. Okay. He wants to be more physical. Being a physical team is it's a work in progress. I was trying to find a different way to put it because that's how it's always put, but I'm going to put it that way too because I couldn't think of anything different. But it's a work in progress. The defense is better than the offense. When you think about, teams are averaging under 2.5 yards per carry versus our defense. That starts up front. The tackling has been a lot better the past couple games. The defense has been way more physical than the ability to run the ball, so hence the offensive side of the ball to work in progress, okay? Culture of execution in terms of penalties, would like to see that improve, especially pre-snap penalties, personal fouls, and the like. Special teams is the tale of two things. Punts landing inside the 10, fake a punt, stop a fake, but giving up block kicks and punts. Oh, that's right. We did convert a fake punt in all fairness. All right. And we did, hold on, what did he say? Yeah, we pinned him inside their 10 a couple of times. There are some positives. How dare you speak so ill of special teams, Adam? I look at Jake, but it was me. He smiled. No. We got a long way to go. We do got to point out the things they do well. All right, to keep a balanced perspective on this, but the special teams has got to get better. You can't remind me of middle school teams I've coached if you're Nebraska on special teams. It's not good enough. All right, James Williams impacted the game against Rutgers after the tough decision to redshirt him last year. Like, the story is phenomenal. Basically just tried out, made the team. He's the guy that's gone through some stuff in his personal life. Again, don't know a lot about that. Would like to learn more about his story. And comes out and makes huge plays in a big-time situation where we needed the win versus Rutgers, and then is highly emotional afterwards because it means that much to him. All right. On the block punt, Isaac Gifford blocked the wrong guy on the first blocked punt. It's interesting because most coaches would just say we blocked the wrong guy. It's very interesting to me that he said Isaac Gifford's name. I'll be honest with you. My 3 favorite players on the team, and I've talked about John Bullock and Ty Robinson, but my 3 favorite players on the team also include Isaac Gifford. Like, I love that dude. All right. So I think that hits home with me because I'm like, oh, man, don't say his name. It is a little bit different. Do you feel it's different with NIL and players making, like when I played, we were just purely seen as kids. Okay, let's take the whole age and COVID season out of it. Just the fact that they're getting paid, some of them, a lot of money. Does that kind of view how you talk about players and whether you say a name or you just say we blocked the wrong guy? Jake?
I think a little bit. I also know that Coach Rule likes to, challenge certain guys and Gift being a senior team leader, some sort, that sort of thing. I think, maybe that makes it a little bit more easy to call him out specifically.
I think that's a fair point. If you're talking about a freshman, maybe not so much. You know what I mean? That's a really fair point. Different ways to motivate different guys. All right, one of the best things Rule has ever seen is Brian Buccini struggling through pain, but getting throws in during halftime in advance to the fake punt. Also, he had 2 60-plus yard punts. He buried Rutgers inside their 10 twice. Oh, and he has 100% completion percentage on the year. 1 for 1, and it was actually a beautifully thrown fake punt pass. Worked very, very, very well. All right, fake punt was a call and not a decision by the team in the moment. Like Rule talked about after the game. Rutgers brings 10 guys a lot of the time on their punt block team or their punt return team. They're an aggressive team. They like to block punts. Almost reminds me of Beamer ball at Va Tech, Frank Beamer back in the days. Well, if you're bringing like 10 guys, you got 2 gunners out there. That means one of them's wide open. And actually, before I started our show, Rashawn Jackson and Terrell Farley mentioned, well, why didn't they bring the protection down when they blocked the punt? And my question was, well, who was on the gunner? Why didn't we throw it to him to begin with to start the game? Because he's obviously wide open if the DB is coming down to block the punt. Brian Buccini said, challenge accepted. All right, let's see what we got next here. He's proud of the work and the growth by the team through the first half of the season. It's rare for Rule to have the team with 2 tackling days during the week of a normal week of practice heading into Rutgers, something they did last week when they were going to play the Scarlet Knights. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. We had to tackle. Whether we beat Rutgers or not, and there was a lot of things that factor into a regular football game, but Rutgers in particular, they tried to win by passing the ball. Their quarterback completed about 40% of his passes and had a 2-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio. Talking about Rutgers quarterback. They're not going to win passing the ball. They have to run the ball. So I love that he spent extra time on tackling last week. It clearly paid off. All right, Terrence Knight, the D-line coach, has done a good job of building a room of camaraderie. When you see the picture after the game, let me know when we got like 2 minutes left, Jake. When you see the picture after the game of him hugging James Williams, like I said, that wasn't a typical bro hug. Like when you see one of your guys, like the bro hug, the half hand handshake and half man hug, the bro hug. This wasn't a player to coach hug. These 2 have a special bond between the 2 of them. You could see it, and it meant a lot. All right, last couple of thoughts here. Heinrich Harburg needs to play more. The challenge in getting Harburg in more and getting in the ball is having so many talented players on offense. That's been my thought all year. Like, I would love Harburg to be in the game more. But who are you going to take out? You're going to take out Isaiah? Jamal? You're going to put him at tight end over Thomas? Barkshire? Running back? If you put him in, the guy needs to be on the field. But how do you do it? I mean, I don't know how you do it. I also don't know how you don't do it. The stress that it puts on a defense for a potential trick play is crazy. Matt Rule made a lot of good points. Got to improve physicality. Got to find out a way to maximize your weapons. Loves what James Williams has done, what Terrence Knight is building in that D-line room. The D-line is playing much improved football ever since the Illinois game. They got punched in the mouth, and instead of laying on the mat, they got back up, and they're punching back, and they're hitting harder than the opponent right now. All right, until next time, Husker Nation, I'll see you fine folks tomorrow. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.
This is State Senator Carolyn Bosden. Public safety is important in our community. I have a proven record of protecting public safety. I have prosecuted